Hello everyone and welcome back to Game 2 and the final game of the group series here of Day 6 of this tournament, SC2Casts.com's first invitational, sponsored and brought to you, of course, by SC2Casts.com. Let's go ahead and get into the game. I'm your host once again, Shiki SC, your commentator for the tournament. And Game 1 belongs here to Liquid TLO. He took the first game on Scrap Station, and he's going to be spawning as the blue Terran here at the top 12 o'clock position. And his opponent is going to be Omar, the green Zerg, spawning here at the 6 o'clock position, once again here on Metalopolis. And this is somewhat of a Zerg-favored map. In these spawn positions, it can be very easy for a Zerg player to expand to his natural, and then once again to his territorial expansion here over to the right-hand side. And then obviously from there, Zerg player can just continually harass and utilize the mobility that the Zerg has on creep, of course. If you don't have the creep, it can be very problematic to harass a Terran player in this position. But if a Terran does choose to go towards a mech style gameplay, it can be very tough for him to move out and play an aggressive play style. He may have to play passive and see what happens. But already, Liquid TLO doesn't seem to be hindered by that. He is going towards somewhat of a mech-style play. This is one of his favorite openings where he gets his 10 depot, and then he gets his gas right after that, and then he'll get his barracks. And then once his barracks is done, he'll have just enough gas to get his first factory up and running. And of course, he loves to use his hellions, but I've said that before. No, everyone should know that by now. And looking at the hotkeys, he does use 5 for his barracks, 1 for his command center, and looks for his scouting SCV is going to be 2. So a lot of pro players always use different styles of hotkey setups, and I noticed a lot of lower end players or platinum or low diamond players just don't utilize hotkeys quite enough. On the flip side, Omar is kind of doing what I do, 4 hatchery and then probably 5 queen, 6 queen, and he's got his first overlord as 1, but he did not find his opponent here in this corner. TLO does see the overlord overhead of his SCV, so he is going to know that Omar is obviously in this position now as well. With the timings and everything, you just know where that overlord is coming from. Obviously, the overlord couldn't get from here all the way down and then across in that little bit of time. But the spawning pool is finished. The gas is up and running. He's got just enough gas here now for Zergling speed. He is going to grab that. He instantly pulls all of his workers off gas. He's probably expecting TLO to do his Hellion build, and he is. And he also pulled all his workers off gas, and he's going to be getting that first Hellion out, probably second and third as well. 3 Hellions is the magic number to kill off the drones and Zerglings in 3 hits. I think, yeah. Yeah, Zerglings won't die in 2 hits unless you have the Infernal Pre-Igniter, but at that time as well, drones will die in 2 hits as well. So a very common thing for TLO as well. I like this build for Terran. I've done it a couple times as well. I just really like it where you go for the Hellion, block off your ramp. There's no way that Banelings are going to be able to break this down. And once that Hellion comes out, he's going to be able to roast off any Zerglings that are trying to put pressure, and also go and stop the Zerg player from fast expanding, or at least getting drones up at his fast expansion, or just harass his mineral line a little bit more. Getting a second gas up and running, he resaturated his first refinery, and now getting an orbital. The command center is about 50% of the way done, and that Hellion is just reaching the base now. He's going to get a few shots away on this hatchery. Zergling speed is just finishing now, so Omar is going to be in good shape to fend off this Hellion. If the Hellions were in groups of 3, he'd be fine, but 1, even 2 Hellions are going to have to retreat, and they are traversing back across the base. It looks like he's going to try to engage here now, but speed has kicked in. If Omar can get a good surround on these Hellions, which he needs to do, not just keep auto-attacking, that's not what you want to do. The Hellions can still kite in that situation, and as you can see, they were able to burn all of those Zerglings down. You need to get a surround and stop the Hellions from moving away from you, and stop the Hellions from really getting off their AoE damage on your Zerglings. But the 3 Hellions are coming in now. A couple spine crawlers are being constructed. Let's pull up the production tab, so don't miss anything. Just the 2 spine crawlers and some more Zerglings. His queens are now at the ramp, so he is not able to spawn larvae on either of his hatcheries after this point. Wow, that one spine crawler was forced to cancel itself. The other one is getting dangerously low. It's around half life now, but it will regenerate pretty quickly while it's still constructing. So the Hellions are forced to retreat. A couple Zerglings are still trying to pick off these Hellions, but it looks like, yeah, 2 have died, and it's just the one left. Second one reinforcing, but that Hellion, oh, gets away with 2 HP, and no, it does die now. But not before all those Zerglings do finish getting toasted. So the Orbital Command is in good position now, and his income should be, oh wow, is not very far behind Omar's at all, because Omar had to produce the 2 Spine Crawlers and then a bunch of Zerglings that got roasted. He wasn't able to produce drones fast as he probably wanted to, and he's not really on his injections. Those need to be a little bit quicker. You're better off being a half a second or 1 second early than 2 seconds too late, or whatever you want to work it out to be. But anyways, TLO is still sticking with the Hellions. Wow, being pumped out of 3 factories. No tech lab, so no infernal pre-igniter at the moment. But even without that, the number of Hellions that he's got out in the field now is just going to be very, very deadly to Omar's army composition at this point. He's just getting his Roach Warren up now, so gets a couple drone kills there, getting some more Zergling kills here. Just dead bodies, frayed all over the ground. It looks like a plant, honestly, after after it turned into black sludge or pudge or whatever it is. But Zergling's trying to get us around here while the Queens attack from the front, and Hellions are getting back into a bad position, but they do lure the Queens off the creep, and now they are able to take quite a few pot shots. This Queen is almost dead, and it is going to go down with 1 or 2 more swipes from those Hellions, and that Queen is going to be forced to retreat. And now a barracks is being used as a scout. These Hellions are still roasting Zerglings, and wow, just not very good control from these Zerglings. All 5 Hellions are still here. He may have had 6 before, but the units lost tab is going to show that he's in a very bad position. Omar needs something to come back from this. The Roaches are out, and they should have blocked the ramp, but the Hellions do get up, and they are able to roast a few more units. No, they do not. That Hellion is going to die. He's only got 22 health left. Still more and more Hellions being funneled right onto the field, I should say. And Infernal Preigniter still not being upgraded. Not sure why. If he's going to use Hellions that much, you may as well get that Infernal Preigniter unless he's saving his gas for something. And indeed he is. Switching all completely into a mech build. He's got 1 armory up already with 75% of the way done researching the level 1 armor for his vehicles. Which will stop the Zerglings from doing a lot of damage. Hellions, of course, I believe, don't have any armor, but tanks and Thors do. So that is going to increase it quite a bit more. But lo and behold, the expansion is fully up and running for TLO, and he does have the economic advantage by quite a bit, I should say. He's got 1 harvester up, but he's got a lot more gas incoming, and he's got the mules, so he's going to be in a very good position. Thors and siege tanks coming out, now working off 4 factories. That is fantastic. Second Armory is now researching the level 1 upgrades as well. I don't really know what Omar can do to become or to overcome this disadvantage right now, because Terran mech is just so strong. I'd almost say he needs some Mutalisks to, gain some mobility and force the Terran to stick to his base so that he can expand. But Mutas just die so quick to Thors, and he is pumping out the Thors. He doesn't have any missile turrets up in his base, but there is no Spire in production, so I really don't know what he's going to do. He's producing a 3rd hatchery over here at the territorial expansion that is going to be needed for him to gain the upper edge on TLO right now, but I don't know if it's going to happen as it is being scouted now. If that 3rd base gets taken out, then Omar is going to be in some big trouble. Infernal Preigniter still not being researched. Siege Tech is obviously done, as these siege tanks are in siege mode. And Omar sticking to his base, really not doing anything. He's got virtually no scouting information. He's got this 1 Overlord up here, just checking this 3rd base. It's not really checking it that well. But other than that, he's got absolutely no sight. You need to spread your Overlords around. You need to spread Zerglings around. You need to control these 2 Xel'Naga Watchtowers, which he is, which is a good thing. But with just 1 Zergling, it's really not going to be that much. I don't think he had that a second ago. But either way, maybe I just missed it. A couple of Hellions still sitting over here on the right-hand side, really not doing anything. They don't have the Infernal Preigniter, so they're really not going to be that effective in harassment now. He's going into, I don't know what he's going to do, kill some units here, but no, he's just going to bypass straight through. There's a Spine Crawler here, but there's too many Roaches and Hydras. Those Hellions will get picked off pretty quickly. Omar does have the speed upgrade for his Overlords, so he really needs to start spreading his Overlords around and spewing down some creep. Put some at each expansion, put some during or through the highway, get that creep extended a lot quicker, get an extra queen out if you need to. Actually, it looks like he is. And he's getting some infestors. I'm not sure if I agree with the infestor play against mech. There's just so much you really can't do against mech. But mutas have been fairly effective lately if controlled properly. There's a couple tactics you can use to control the mutas that make them very effective against Thors. And if that's abused or utilized a lot better, then maybe Zerg won't feel so handicapped. But anyways, that's for another video completely. As TLO's got a lot of Hellions out, but once again, they don't have the Infernal Preigniter. They are upgraded with 1 attack and 2 armor, so they will be they're still fairly effective. But with that Infernal Preigniter, they'd be so effective against the Hydras and Zerglings. Of course, Infestors are not light units. They would only be good against Zerglings, drones, or Hydras. Banelings are not light either, but still, Zerglings, Hydras, and drones are a massive portion of the Zerg's economy and army, so that'd be a very good upgrade for TLO to get right now, but maybe he just overlooked it by accident, or maybe that just wasn't a part of his game plan. But either way, he obviously can afford it right now. He's got the extra minerals, but Omar's surprisingly really kind of hurting on the macro side here. He's got 1900 resources and 1900 gas as well. Ultralisk Cavern is up, so he's on tier 3. He's not researching the extra armor, chitinous plating, but he has researched groove spines. Where's that Roach Warren? And he's only got glial reconstitution, so I'm not really sure what he's thinking now. He's just playing too passive right now. Against a Terran player like this, if you play passive, the Terran player is going to expand just as much as you are, and his army is just going to be way too effective against yours, especially at 200, or even anywhere close to that. Right now, looking at the army tab, TLO is dominating that. Does that mean that, yes, Omar's got quite a few more workers. Well, only 7 workers more than TLO does, but his income is quite a lot higher. TLO does see that this extra base is coming up. He's going to probably attack it with these Hellions a little bit, draw some of the army out and out of position maybe. Ooh, oh no. This is going to be trouble. There is 12 drones here, and as soon as they're transferred over, these Hellions are going to come in and absolutely roast them. This is, oh come on Hellions, go Hellions, go. No, they're going to long distance mine, you're going to lose your chance. Okay, that was boring. So, yeah, these tanks and Thors, there's a lot of tanks and Thors. They are pushing out. It looks like the Hellions are waiting. And what is this? We've got an Overlord in, just scouting some information. I don't think, yes, he did see the Banshees coming, so he knows he's going to have some detectors up. TLO taking out a creep tumor that was just starting to morph. And the Ultralisks are in the field, so this could be an interesting engagement. The Ultras, if they can get close enough in to absorb some of the tank fire, the Hydras and Hydras and Roaches can cause enough damage to the mech army, but I don't know, these Banshees are going to be really big trouble against the Ultralisks. The Ultralisks do have, 4 upgrades, so they do have the chitinous plating, and then an additional 2 armor, I believe, but, no, just 1 armor. But fungal growth on the Banshees is going to wear them down a little bit, but wow, this mech army absolutely obliterated the army of the Zerg player. They were fairly close in army, but now wow. Tanks upgraded 3-2 are just so effective against Zerg. And Omar asks 200 limit, and TLO is almost not even at 180. And Omar says, great. Well, hold on 1 second. Sorry, I had to sneeze and didn't want to do it all over the camera. But anyways, yeah, great. Well, I don't know what you really expect. You don't harass the Terran player. You tech up to tier 3 and you let the Terran expand as much as you do. That you can't really expect the Terran player to not have a 200 army at that point. These Cloak Banshees are just ripping up the hatchery, while the Hellions are just ripping apart all the drones. So many dead bodies, and there's really nothing Omar can do now to come back from this. There's just too much units lost. TLO's now back up to 173. The Ultras are coming in to try to take out these tanks. They are doing a ton of damage to the tanks, but the Banshees are just doing even more damage to the Ultras. So many tanks just backing up. And Omar says GL in the tournament does GG, and Liquid TLO is going to advance. So Omar will not, unfortunately, but so thanks to Omar for competing and giving us some entertaining games. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the semifinals. We'll have an announcement coming up with probably in the TL thread of who's advancing and who isn't and what the bracket will look like. So stay tuned, guys.